Welcome to the Explainer. If you've ever felt that slight knot in your stomach when looking at a page full of fractions, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're completely demystifying the mathematical language of fractions. We're going to break these concepts down logically and visually so you can see exactly how these numbers actually work in our daily lives. To get us there, we've got a super clear 5-step roadmap for today. First, what is a fraction? Second, proper versus improper fractions. Third, mixed and equivalent fractions. Fourth, common and decimal fractions. And finally, we'll wrap up with the fraction master quiz. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive right into section 1. What exactly is a fraction? The basic building blocks. Think of a pizza that's been cut into exactly 8 equal slices, right? Now, if we just pull out 3 of those slices, we get the fraction 3/8. It really is that simple. It just means we've got 3 parts out of an 8-part whole. Now, to write this down mathematically, we use 2 specific terms you've probably heard before. The top number is the numerator, and that literally tells us the number of parts we actually have in our hands. The bottom number, well, that's the denominator, which tells us the total number of equal parts the whole thing was divided into. So the really crucial takeaway here is that a fraction isn't just a static object on a page. It's actually a representation of division. Saying 3/8 is exactly the same thing as saying 3 divided by 8. Oh, and one golden rule to remember. That bottom number, the denominator, can never, ever be 0. No exceptions. Moving right along to section 2, proper versus improper fractions. Let's scale things up a bit. So, a proper fraction is probably exactly what you picture when you think of fractions. The top number, the numerator, is smaller than the bottom number. That means its total value is always less than 1. You know, like eating 2 slices of a 5-slice pizza. But an improper fraction, that kind of breaks the mold. Here, the numerator is actually greater than or equal to the denominator, which means its overall value is 1 or more. For example, take 5/2. That essentially means you have 5 half pizzas. Now, let's be honest, eating 5 half pizzas all by yourself is a pretty impressive Friday night. But mathematically speaking, that simply equals 2.5 whole pizzas. All right, section 3, mixed and equivalent fractions. This is all about changing the shape. So a mixed number is incredibly practical for real-world stuff. It's just a whole number paired up with a proper fraction. Think about reading a recipe. If an improper fraction tells you that you need 7/3 of a cup of flour, well, that's kind of confusing to measure, right? But if we write that exact same amount as a mixed number, 2 whole cups and 1/3 of a cup, suddenly you can actually bake that cake. It's really just a different, way more practical way to write an improper fraction. And you know what? Converting a mixed number back into an improper fraction is an absolute breeze. Let's use that 2 1/3 example again. Step 1, you multiply the whole number, which is 2, by the denominator, 3. That gives us 6. Step 2, add the numerator, which is 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. Step 3, put that brand new total over the original denominator. Boom, you are right back to 7/3. It's a perfect, seamless loop. Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that fractions can wear totally different masks, but still represent the exact same amount of pizza. We call these equivalent fractions. 1/2 is the exact same value as 2/4 or 4/8. You find these by multiplying or dividing the top and bottom by the exact same non-zero number. And when you want to tidy things up and find the simplest form, you just divide by the greatest common divisor. For instance, divide both the top and bottom of 12/16 by 4, and you get the beautifully simple 3/4. This brings us to section 4, common and decimal fractions, the final translation. Okay, up until now, pretty much every fraction we've talked about, proper, improper, mixed, falls under the big umbrella of common fractions. And that just means the top and bottom are both integers, whole numbers. But there's a very special kind of VIP group of fractions known as decimal fractions. For these guys, the bottom number, the denominator, is always a power of 10. Think 10, 100, 1,000. And because of that, they translate flawlessly into the decimals we use every day. Like 3 over 10 is exactly 0.3. Just keep in mind, some common fractions divide perfectly into terminating decimals, like 1/4 becoming 0.25. But others, like 1/3, they create repeating decimals, like 0.333 that literally goes on forever. So, stepping back, it's brilliant to see exactly how all these different pieces fit together. You've got proper fractions living comfortably under the value of 1, while improper and mixed fractions live at 1 or above. Equivalent fractions mirror each other, common fractions stick to integers, and decimal fractions, they plug us directly into our standard base 10 system. All 6 of these concepts are just working together in complete harmony. All right, section 5, the fraction master quiz. Let's put everything we've just learned to the test and see how we do. Here we go, question 1. Is 7 over 5 a proper or an improper fraction? Take a split second and think about the size of that top number. Got it? Well, because 7 is greater than the denominator, 5, this is absolutely an improper fraction. Its overall value is greater than 1. Next question. Let's do a little mental math here. How do you convert the improper fraction 11/4 into a mixed number? Remember our division rule from earlier? Just ask yourself, how many times does 4 go into 11 entirely? It goes in 2 times, right? And that leaves a remainder of 3. So your mixed number is simply 2 3/4. Question 3. Now this one's a slight challenge. What is an equivalent fraction to 3/5, but it specifically has to have a denominator of 20? Think about it. How do we get that bottom 5 to suddenly become a 20? We multiply it by 4. And the rule is, whatever we do to the bottom, we absolutely have to do to the top. So 3 times 4 is 12. The answer is 12/20. All right, final question. Let's translate this. How do you write the decimal 0.6 as a decimal fraction? Just remember that power of 10 rule for the denominator. Since the 6 is sitting right there in the tenths place, you simply write it as 6 over 10. Easy as that. Excellent job! You now officially have the tools to decode the mathematical language of fractions. Whether you're scaling up a baking recipe, figuring out how to split a restaurant bill with your friends, or just measuring out a room for new furniture, you are constantly using proper, improper, mixed, and decimal fractions. They really are the hidden architecture of our daily lives. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time you slice up a pizza or divide up a big task, ask yourself, what fraction of the world are you really shaping? Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and keep learning.